Chapter 5 Sanctum. Grim Station bathed in the warm peach hue of its host-orange dwarf sun. The starport spanned a width comparable to the state of Tennessee, but to a distant observer, it was only an insect hovering before a fiery behemoth. Up close, it looked like any other starport, bowing away from the sun like an umbrella to maximize surface area for plasma induction and protection for docking vessels. Those who had visited the station, though, knew it was one of a kind. There were a plethora of reasons corpsmen called it Haven. Skimming the blistering surface of Grimm's star at 62,000 miles an hour, Daunting accelerated into the station's cool shadow. The overwhelming light from below became obscured, bringing the Milky Way's ambience into contrast as the ship entered sun-synchronous orbit, then descended to the terminal. On final approach, the triangular craft rolled so that her belly faced outward, then tapped her starboard thrusters to nudge closer to a boarding gate. Two hooked arms extended from Daunting's port side and top, and latched onto protruding rings from the starport's berth. Ramadi had already become familiar with the G-forces tugging his body in different directions during the preceding maneuvers, and though uncomfortable, they came more effortlessly than his first experience. Gravity, whether real or artificial, was welcome in any form after being in zero-G for several hours. "Mooring latches engaged, extending gangway," Adam announced. Ramadi could feel the subtle rumble through his flight chair as Daunting's docking corridor extended, then latched and placed and formed an airtight seal with the space station. "Everyone, you've earned 12 hours leave. Get some sleep or enjoy yourself," Captain Gaines said. Ramadi stood from his chair and felt various aches and pains shoot through his body as though they'd been waiting to ambush him. He stretched upwards as far as he could go, and his fingertips nearly reached handles on the ceiling. He jumped and instinctively grasped them, hanging and stretching his overworked muscles. As he hung and breathed slowly, Ramadi wondered if he should try to get together with his crewmates during their leave. He decided that after the stressful mission they just completed, everyone probably wanted some time apart. "Adam, what rec facilities are there in port?" "Too many to list. You'll need to specify the types of activities you're interested in. From your synaptic symbols and bio readings, it looks like you need something restful. May I suggest the Quasar Lounge? Many people enjoy the drinks, which are designed to have entertaining but fleeting effects." "I'm not sure. I've never been a drinker. I like exploring, but if I spend too much time walking around, I won't actually do anything." "You could take an indirect path to Quasar through the Astronomer's Promenade, which many critics have reviewed as breathtaking." "Sounds nice." Ramadi strolled along a large open path covered with virtual windows, relaying views of the distant cosmos in every direction, making him feel as though he were floating in the void. The way one might imagine clouds as animals, he examined the various stellar phenomena and saw common things emerge: a nebula that looked like a horse, a face in the cratered surface of a moon, stars as eyes shining from the deep. Were it not for the commotion of Quasar Lounge down the corridor, he would have forgotten there were thousands of people on the station. He wondered if experienced officers became so busy traveling about the galaxy that they took its inherent beauty for granted. Patella, a style of improvised cross-medium music, played not only in the audible frequencies, but in the synaptic range echoed from down the hall. Anxious but willing to challenge his comfort zone, Ramadi walked down the Astronomer's Promenade toward the growing sound of mirth echoing from the lounge. As the hall came to an end and transitioned to a normal, somewhat sterile light gray hall, the Quasar Lounge's small, dimly lit entrance seemed seedy by contrast. As Ramadi crossed the threshold into the darkness of the lounge, his eyes took time to adjust, revealing a mass of people scattered throughout the club, replete with retro decor, old-fashioned lacquered oak tables, and a slick wooden floor that seemed to be designed for dancing. It proved a sudden and overwhelming adjustment, as though it had not occurred to him prior that the reason for going here was to be social. Ramadi's heart skipped a beat, and his breath grew short as he wondered how he could possibly approach anyone and start a conversation. He slinked inside, away from the entrance, and took a seat at a small table for two and observed his surroundings. The room was divided into levels by short staircases, while polished nickel railings created different sections. Opposite the seating area stretched a long, curved bar with hundreds of diverse alcohols lined up along its back wall. Two androids, female and male models, tended with the utmost efficiency, mixing drinks almost too quickly to appreciate their flawless technique. Ramadi's eyes gravitated toward a familiar silhouette in the distance. Rouse? The tall, blonde commander wore civilian clothes but looked only slightly less rigid than usual. Valeria was sitting across from a classically handsome man who was speaking and making animated gestures. His beaming white smile stood out despite the room's low lighting. Ramadi looked down at his uniform, embarrassed to be looking so formal, then looked up again. Valeria was gone. He scanned and to his surprise saw her approaching the bar to his left. Ramadi sank further back into the shadow cast over his table. "If there's anyone I can talk to here, it's got to be her. Just go say hi." As she retrieved 2 drinks from the bar, Valeria's demeanor loosened. She didn't appear to notice Ramadi. "What am I doing? Cowering in the corner like a lost child?" He jumped from his seat and approached the counter. "Commander." Seemingly unaware of his thought, Valeria headed for her seat. "She wouldn't snub me like that. Is it really just the ambient noise in here?" He glanced at the male barkeep android. "Tirki and ale, please," he said. With agility approaching the prestidigitation of an illusionist, the humanoid fetched a mug hanging from overhead, filled it under a spout behind the bar, then put it on the bar top. Ramadi grabbed the mug and took an ambitious gulp. "Madi?" came a voice from behind him. Choking with surprise, Ramadi spurted some of his beer onto his face and held the cup over his mouth to conceal the accident. Tempting to be cool, he wiped his face with his sleeve just as he lowered his mug, then looked to his left with a forced smile. "Kelly! Cheers!" Ramadi exclaimed with a crack in his voice, holding out his mug. Kelly's eyebrows furrowed, but she cleared the expression from her face, then swiped an empty mug from the bar counter and clinked it to his. "You, want to sit down somewhere? Or maybe leave?" she asked. Ramadi took a nervous sip and nodded. Kelly set her mug on the counter. "I've never seen you drink before, Madi," she said, pulling his cup away and putting it on the bar. Ramadi froze completely, unsure how to respond. His old academy friend gazed into his eyes, bringing his thoughts back into focus. "I'm sorry," he said. "This is all just so new to me. You were always there to help me through my social anxiety, and now I'm on my own trying to figure things out." "It's okay. Let's go." Fortuna fought the urge to look back at Rouse one more time. If she had seen him, he would only feel more embarrassed. Kelly walked in step with Ramadi, though a bit rushed, as they exited the lounge, and she signaled to go right. The clamor of conversation and music dwindled quickly as they strolled at a nervous pace. "Where are we going?" he asked. "Can you just be surprised?" "Oh, okay," he chuckled, feeling more relaxed. "Fleeting effects isn't an exaggeration," he muttered. "Sorry?" "The drink. Never mind," he hiccuped. They strolled in silence for a few moments as Ramadi lost track of time and space. He clutched to the familiar feeling of her presence, and a warm wave swept through his body. Something was different now, as though he could picture a relationship with her. Maybe it was the alcohol? He wasn't sure. Throughout his time at the academy, his priority was always his performance, so he suppressed any attempt to pursue a romantic relationship, as it might distract him from his work. Now that he'd graduated, he figured he could enjoy a little more flexibility. Ramadi felt Kelly's eyes on him and looked over. She was blushing. "What are you thinking about?" she asked. "Not work, I hope." Ramadi cleared his throat, worried that she'd heard all his thoughts, since apparently his crewmates were able to. Just thankful you're here, Kel." He beamed a smile. "Me too." Her shiny brunette hair bobbed rhythmically as they walked. Comfortable with the ensuing silence and unsure what to talk about, Fortuna ruminated about the hectic day that had passed since they left Parallax Station. They passed a fitness center and spa, then entered a hallway lined with hemispherical pods on the left and right, large enough to fit 2 people in a booth inside. "Here we are," Kelly whispered. "What are these for?" "They're called Sanctums, for complete privacy." Feeling warmth bubble up from his abdomen, Ramadi grew anxious at the thought of being up close with Kelly in a private setting. He wondered if she had certain expectations, or if he should take an opportunity with her. Or maybe he was reading too much into this. Some of the pods had a strip of red light on the back, indicating they were in use. Kelly approached a vacant one and waved Ramadi on. Its interior had a plushy, inviting seat for 2. Clearly she likes me, or maybe she's nervous too? He sighed, tired of the guessing game. What's the matter? Just wish my mind would be quiet. You're in luck. As they stepped into the Sanctum sphere of influence and sat on its plushy couch, all of the background noise of the ComNet faded into nothing. Even the ambient sound level trailed off to utter silence. Ramadi's eyes went wide, and he snapped his fingers, testing the audio isolation. It's like a sensory deprivation chamber. Shh! You don't have to talk so loudly in this, Kelly whispered, putting her hand on his temple. In fact, don't even speak. Just think. This is peaceful. There you go, Kelly thought toward him, smiling. How has your post been going? It's good. I've been helping where I can, but you know what it's like to be the new crewmate. I just get the sense they don't trust me. They've just met you, Madi. It will take time. I understand that, but I feel like they scrutinize my every thought and it makes me feel pathetic. Oh, I completely relate. But you know, it's difficult not to be heard so easily in a ship with 6 people in the Thought Mag protocol. Thought Mag? I'm sorry, I assumed you knew. During the first month of service, all new crew members are subject to it. While on duty, your synaptic signals are multiplied. It's very easy for your crewmates to hear your thoughts. Ramadi shook his head. No one told me that. How did you learn about it? I noticed it happening immediately and asked. You'd be amazed how much you can learn if you just call out the elephant in the room, Madi. Fortunately, Sanctums allow us to communicate privately. Not even Adam is monitoring our thoughts right now, supposedly. So, listen, she smiled. Back on Parallax, before we said goodbye and thought we wouldn't see each other for a long time, you wanted to tell me or ask me something. Still fixated on the revelation she just opened him up to, Ramadi struggled to shift gears. Without thinking about couching the subject softly, he blurted the answer. The spark! Sorry? I was going to ask you about the spark. You always avoid the subject, and I just wanted to... Kelly turned away as if ready to stand up and leave. I don't talk or even think about it. You're right. She started breathing heavily. I'm sorry, we don't have to. No, I should tell you. She turned back, still appearing withdrawn. When you were telling me about watching recorded memories of your parents, I envied you. I never told you that my mom and dad are actually foster parents. My biological parents were killed that day. The day Adam sent people to their deaths without even telling them why, and then UniTerra tore itself apart. Were your parents actually on the Thysia? No, she sniffed. But we lived in Hexia Colony. One of the most conglomerate-friendly sectors of the Sagittarius arm. Kelly nodded. They sided with Adam immediately and wanted to secede, so they sent me off to live with my grandmother on the first transport out from Hexia Station. I watched from a distance as UniTerra battleships bombarded the port, completely wiping it out without so much as an offer to surrender. My parents were snuffed out before they even got a chance to mount a defense. And then, out of anger, I swore allegiance to the conglomerate. They were desperate for anyone, even a silly, heartbroken 8-year-old. Are you saying you regret going to the academy? You don't identify with the conglomerate? I don't side with anyone. War is hell. She looked down, snorting shamelessly. But I made a commitment. I can't take it back. Ramadi felt flush with heat. I sympathize. We give Adam too much control over our lives. I'm sorry, Kelly. Thank you for confiding in me. I'm sorry to pry. It's okay. She stared into his eyes. If there's anyone I trust, it's you. I need to get some rest before my next shift. It's going to be a long one. Kelly offered a tight-lipped smile as she stood. Take care out there, Madi. Hope to see you again soon.